رمضان تجلى وابتسم طوبى للعبد إذا اغتنم رمضان تجلى وابتسم طوبى.
The first issue is, can a non-baligh, can an immature child lead salah? And this does happen. There are many masajid, especially up north, from what I hear. There are many masajid where they make a child who's not a baligh yet, but he's memorized a large portion of the Quran and he has a beautiful melodious voice. They make him lead Salatul Taraweeh according to the stronger opinion, and most definitely the safer opinion. It is not permissible. A child, a non-baligh, cannot lead any salah unless the child is leading other children. Okay, salah is not fard on them in the first place. A child can lead other children, but a child cannot lead adults in salah. Okay, so imagine there's a masjid, they have no huffaz, they can't find anyone who's memorized the Quran. So what do? They bring a child to lead them in Taraweeh Salah. This is not allowed. It's better that the adult male, the normal imam, for example, leads them in Taraweeh Salah with reciting from anywhere, rather than them bringing a child and raising doubts over the validity of their Salah. So children should not lead adults in Salah, not in Taraweeh or any other prayer. So this is the first point. The second point is, and I mentioned this already actually, that if somebody goes to the masjid and they see that Taraweeh has begun, then they should perform Isha first. If they haven't performed Isha, they should perform Isha first and then they will join the Taraweeh Salah. Now, if they join the Taraweeh Salah without having prayed Isha, then this Salah would not be considered as Taraweeh Salah. It would be considered as Nafil, as voluntary prayer, and not Taraweeh. And obviously, if he prays Isha first and then joins the Taraweeh Salah, he will make up for any rak'ats that he missed afterwards. Yeah. And there is a question that people ask, will they still get the reward of Khatam? Taraweeh Salah shouldn't be prayed just for the Khatam. Taraweeh Salah is a Sunnah prayer on its own. Yeah, like I said, it's like the 2 rak'ats of Fajr. It's like the 4 rak'ats before Dhuhr, the 2 rak'ats after Dhuhr, the 2 rak'ats after Maghrib. It's a Sunnah Mu'akkada prayer with or without the Khatam, right? So this should be the first thing, that when you're performing Taraweeh Salah, you're performing a Sunnah Salah. Now, if you want the reward of Khatam, then of course you have to listen to the entire Quran. If you don't, then you will not get the reward of the full Khatam. However, if you do take part, if for a valid reason you missed it, or you were unable to pray in the masjid and you went to a different masjid and then they recited from a different portion and then your Khatam became all over the place, inshallah, for your intention, you will still get the reward of Khatam. And of course, the dua after Khatam is accepted. So when the Khatam is complete, you can make dua, that's fine. But once again, Taraweeh does not revolve around the Khatam of the Quran. Although, this has become the culture. But Taraweeh Salah, think about this. Taraweeh Salah, when the Prophet ﷺ prayed it the first time, right? The whole Quran was not even fully revealed yet. Okay, because the Quran revealed until the final moments of Rasulullah ﷺ. So reciting the entire Quran in Taraweeh Salah is not such a big deal, to be honest, right? If you want reward of Khatam, you can do so outside Salah. Now, like I said, and I'll say this again, I reiterate, I'm not against reciting the Quran in Taraweeh Salah. It's better if it can be done, but if it can't be done, it's no biggie. And especially if it causes undue hardship upon people, then it's better that they perform Taraweeh Salah without the Khatam. Okay, and like I said, this is something which is explicitly mentioned in the books of fiqh. The next point is, and again, this is something I did mention, that Taraweeh Salah can be prayed before or after witr salah. So if witr salah, if somebody performs a certain number of rak'ats for Taraweeh, then he prays witr and then he prays Taraweeh later, that is fine. Or he can pray all 20 after witr, or he can pray all 20 before witr salah. But he must pray witr, because witr salah is a lot more important than Taraweeh salah. Witr salah is wajib in the Hanafi Madh'hab, and it's more important than Taraweeh salah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Man lam yutir falaysa minna." Whoever doesn't do witr salah, then he is not one of us. The next point is imamatul fasiq, meaning a transgressor, an open sinner, can he lead Taraweeh salah? Now, when I was growing up, I had a lot of friends who were hafiz, right? And some of them, unfortunately, now this isn't backbiting, I'm trying to depict, what really happens and some of the problems that people face. There are certain huffaz, certain people who have memorized the Quran, but they don't pray any time during the year. But when it's Taraweeh salah, they revise the Quran, and then they start leading Taraweeh salah. But they don't pray any salah, and I know many such huffaz, unfortunately. I know of one, waliyadu billah, and I remember this very well. And I remember when I witnessed this, I was very, very disheartened, and I was really. It's one of those things that you just wish that you died without seeing. There was a hafiz of the Quran. He had memorized the entire Quran, but he was drunk, and he was drunk during Ramadan. So these things unfortunately happen. They exist, and we as a Muslim community need to work together to try and solve these problems that our youngsters are facing. Nevertheless, can a fasiq, someone known to be a sinner, lead Taraweeh salah? The answer is no. I mean, if they lead it, the salah is valid, but they shouldn't. Okay, remember one thing, right? When it comes to who should be leading the salah, we follow the same procedure, the one who has the most knowledge, and so on and so forth. But because in Taraweeh we want people who have memorized the Quran to lead the salah, therefore the conditions or the what do you call it, the strictness in choosing an imam is slightly relaxed. However, that doesn't mean that it could be someone, or that doesn't mean it could be anyone, because there are certain types of people it's makruh for them to lead salah anyway, even if they're an alim, right? And one of them, and we spoke about this in the chapter of, or in the earlier part of the chapter of salah, is a fasiq, someone who's an open transgressor, someone who's known to be a sinner, right? Someone who's known to be a thief, someone who's known to be a drug dealer, right? And believe it or not, there are people who have memorized the Quran and they take drugs, okay? So these people should not lead the salah. These people should not lead the salah, even if no one is available. Even if no one is available to lead Khatam Taraweeh, to read the whole Quran, then they should get an imam who's not a fasiq, and he should lead them in normal salah, right? Of course, nowadays we won't face this problem because it's quite easy, or it's not quite easy, but it's easier than it was in the past to find an hafid, right? Because people well before Ramadan, they allocate huffaz in masajid. However, there have been, and there are many masajid where people lead salah, and these huffaz are known to be sinners. Okay, now I'm not judging them. I'm not saying that they're going to go to hell, but in terms of your salah, it shouldn't be someone whom the community looks down upon. Because can you imagine, this is an imam. He's going to lead you in salah, and not just any salah. He's going to recite the whole Quran. He's going to recite the entire Quran in this salah. Okay, are you going to jeopardize the validity of your salah just so the khatam can be done, or just because this person has a nice voice? This is not the spirit of Islam, right? Because the position of imam, is a position of honor, and if you give it to someone who is not worthy of that honor, then not only are you disrespecting the position itself, but you're disrespecting the Quran, you're disrespecting salah, the act of worship itself. So therefore, when it comes to a fasiq leading salah, or leading Taraweeh salah, it should be avoided. Now, the other thing that I want to clarify is that who is a fasiq? This is a completely different discussion, right? So if someone has a short beard, okay, this is not, according to me at least, this is not a fisq. This person is not a fasiq, right? When I say fasiq, it has to be a sin that everyone agrees is a sin. Okay, so if someone, there are some mosques or some people who refuse to pray behind someone with a long beard. Now, this is a bit extreme, okay, because just, there are opinions and there are scholars who hold that, the beard itself isn't wajib, right? So that's different. But I'm talking about actual fusaq, actual transgressors, people who, who drink alcohol and are known to do so. People who don't pray throughout the year, okay, and they only pray in Ramadan. Now, of course, sometimes this is hard to assess because they could be praying, but we don't know. But when it's known, then it's an issue. As for the tasbeehat, Subhana Dhil Mulki and all the other tasbeehat we do during Taraweeh after every 4 rak'ats and after all 20 rak'ats. I mean, these are fine, so long as they're not considered to be sunnah. It's fine, because the reason why ulama recommend them is that after every 4 rak'ats you should take a break, but during that break it's good to be engaging in worship of Allah. Okay, and the simplest form of worship while you're sitting down and waiting for salah to begin is tasbih. So some scholars came up with this tasbih, Subhana Dhil Mulki wal Malakut. It's fine, so long as people don't believe it's a sunnah, and so long as people don't look down on others for not reading it. Yeah, and they could do any tasbih. They could do dua during that time when everyone's doing tasbih. They can do dua to Allah. Can women go to Taraweeh? The answer is yes. Women can go to Taraweeh. The Taraweeh is valid. It's not necessary for them to do so, but it is permissible for women to perform Taraweeh in congregation. And there are many masajid in the UK that facilitate Taraweeh for women. So that's fine. And the sunnah mu'akkada will be fulfilled. But like I said earlier, so Taraweeh is a sunnah mu'akkada for both men and women. It's not sunnah only for men. Women also have to pray Taraweeh 20 rak'ats. So if they're not praying in the mosque, they still have to pray at home. The next point I want to mention is, can an imam lead Taraweeh in 2 different mosques? Meaning, and again, this is something which has happened, in a few places. So there's 2 mosques right next to each other, for example, right? So what happens is, an imam, he prays Taraweeh in one mosque, then he leaves and goes to the other mosque and leads it there. Now, it's not permissible if he prays all 20 in one mosque and then prays more in a different mosque. Okay, and he can pray, but he cannot lead. Okay, let me break this down. Let's just say I am leading Taraweeh in Masjid X, right? In Masjid X, I lead Taraweeh however many rak'ats, right? But I've prayed 20. I've prayed all 20 in that mosque. Now I go to another mosque, they started late and they need an imam. Because I've prayed 20 already, I can no longer lead them. But if there's another imam, I can pray behind them with the intention of nafal, not with the intention of Taraweeh, with the intention of nafal, right? So I've prayed in Masjid X. Because I've prayed all 20, I can no longer lead, but I can pray with the intention of nafal. However, if I lead Taraweeh Salah in Masjid X, so I lead them in 10 rak'ats, right? And then I leave, I've only prayed 10. And another imam will pray the other 10 in that mosque. I go to a different mosque, because I've only prayed 10 rak'ats Taraweeh, I can still lead 10 rak'ats Taraweeh in a different mosque. I hope that's clear, inshallah, yeah? So it's permissible to lead Taraweeh in 2 different mosques, so long as you haven't prayed all 20, yeah? Likewise, it's also permissible for an individual who's not an imam to pray Taraweeh in different mosques. So let's just say, look, he prays somewhere, he's at work. There's a masjid next to his work. So he prays there, he prays 8 rak'ats, right? Then he drives home and there's a mosque next to his home and he prays another 12. That's fine. Okay, that will be 20. As for the Imam, the Imam, he can lead in 2 different mosques if altogether he prays no more than 20. Okay. Making intention for Taraweeh, because Taraweeh is 2, 2, 2, 2, and you're constantly getting up to pray. It's permissible to make one intention at the very beginning. So before the first 2 rak'ats, you say, I am now going to pray. You don't have to say it verbally. You make an intention in your heart that you're going to pray 20 rak'at Taraweeh. That's fine. However, it's better to do it after every 2. This is preferable, but it's not necessary. Okay. And to be honest, when we say preferable, it's just to renew the intention, because the intention in the heart, it won't go, after 2 rak'ats, because you've made intention to pray 20, right? You pray 2, and then when you get up, that getting up itself is an intention, right? However, if you've made intention at the beginning only, and then you go out for a bit, like you go to the bathroom or something, then obviously you've done something which would break the intention. So you come back, and then you would make the intention again. So it's permissible to make one intention for Salatul Taraweeh, but it's better to do it. It's better to renew the intention each time. Okay. The last point is that if there's a very large congregation and it's feared that by doing sujud al-Sahw there will be confusion, sujud al-Sahw can be left out. So in Taraweeh Salah, likewise with Eid Salah as well. Eid Salah, Taraweeh Salah, or Salahs where there's a very large congregation, it's permissible. Let's just say the Imam makes a mistake which would necessitate sujud al-Sahw. It's permissible for him not to do sujud al-Sahw and just end the Salah as normal. This is simply because it may cause confusion. This is the end of Bab Qiyam Shahri Ramadan.